Hi, I'm Kim Duffy with the Holiday Historical Commission. I hope you enjoyed our bagpiper, Jim Barkley with the Utah Pipe Band. In Utah, bagpipers associated not just with St. Patrick's Day, but also often with funerals and memorials. So we thought we would bring him here to call everybody in. I think it was a great touch. This is the sixth in our series, our speaker series, organized by the Holiday Historical Commission. Our first speaker was Leanne Stillman, who was our first mayor. Then we had Corey Jensen and Amber Anderson from the State History Office, who talked about getting houses on the National Register and the tax incentives it can bring. Alan Roberts and David Ammett then came separately to talk about how Holiday isn't laid out on a grid like every other Utah town is, but it follows streams and swales in circuitous patterns. We learned that Holiday's founders were dynamic individuals who went on to settle many towns all the way to the West Coast, and that many empire builders lived in Holiday's grand estates. Two of those are available on YouTube if you just search Holiday Historical Commission. Finally, 2 months ago, we had Forrest Kutch, who is a Native American scholar. He taught us about the Indian tribes who lived here before the settlers arrived, what befell them after that, and what they have to offer us, and we them, from our different ways of approaching life on this earth. Tonight we'll hear more about the founding families of Holiday who are still among us, and the descendants who still live here, and also in the serene spot about a mile west of here. Please welcome Kathy Osborne, Cemetery Director of the Holiday Cemetery.
So a lot of familiar faces here, so I was grateful to be asked to come here and present to you our beautiful, rare cemetery. I know many of you already have your spaces and just start familiar with it, but again, I'm happy with the Holiday Cemetery. And we're just going to talk a little bit about the cemetery and all of the amazing things that it has to offer, its history, and then kind of when we're done, we're going to have just a little short Q&A. How does that sound? Yeah. Perfect. All right. Oops, I went back. Sorry. Okay. According to the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers, our cemetery, we have the journalists noted that our first burial was a little girl that came in on the Holiday Headmarks. We do have a monument in her memory. It was donated by the Daughters of the Pioneer and many people from Holiday. Our sweet little 3-year-old daughter, name unknown but surely well loved, was in 1848, the first to be laid to rest in the historic Holiday Memorial Park. The cemetery is the second in the valley, was begun under the direction of Brigham Young. The streams, the rolling hills, the mountain views make this a beautiful location. And as Kim was just saying, I mean, it's just really special, all those beautiful items that we have here in our cemetery. One of the very first documented, according to Daughters of the Pioneer again, and many of this information that I'm providing you today is so old that we have to rely upon a cumulative of information that comes from all various sources. And I hope you have a chance to look at all the beautiful photos that are outside. Kirk McKay, who's our funeral director over at our mortuary across the street on Highland Drive, the mortuary on Highland Drive, about 46,000 Highland Drive, put all of those together. And so the beautiful old pictures and information, as well as a beautiful painting of John Holiday. So pretty interesting there. But according to Daughters of the Pioneer, our first one is Sarah Miles Andrews. She passed away in 1852. Miles Andrews probably is one of the biggest names that we have when people come to visit our cemetery. And for those that are not aware, we are really a coveted cemetery. People come from all over the world to see our beautiful history and what we have here. I mean, it's truly a gem. But in 1852, you do have somebody has made a monument to honor Milo Amherst and all of his wives. And you'll notice here on the left, this is his home, Milo Amherst home, on 4917 Holiday Boulevard. Kind of as I go through this, you'll notice some of the homes, of the historic homes that we've kind of intertwined, and I'll be putting some of that in here. Amherst, and we do have a few here today. Many are very familiar with our cemetery. They grew up digging graves. They grew up, their history is along with our cemetery. And we have maybe probably close to 40 Amherst burials as of now, and that doesn't even talk about the ones that we don't know about, unfortunately. When you come to a cemetery like ours, many people will come and ask about their descendants. Their journals will say, Kathy Osborne came in on the planes, she passed away, she was buried in the cemetery. But we have to think about back then. Unfortunately, in those days, the journals state that they were buried. There was no real cemetery. So us, like Salt Lake City Cemetery, we have unknown graves. We don't know where they are. When we dig a grave and we find human remains, we will automatically close that grave. And that is part of our beautiful history, and we will mark it, and we will leave it a sacred space. So it's not that we don't know, and people say, oh, there's a marker out there. People have come in later, and Ishmael Moses and Amherst, and made a marker there to honor that person.
Do they mark it as unknown, or do they?
We do. Yeah, all of it. So when you look at our map, you'll see, so you'll notice cold winters, right? You'll notice there are groups of bodies buried together. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about Duncan Casper. The grounds of the cemetery originally belonged to Duncan Casper. They were purchased in one lot, with 10 burials to be made in one lot. That system that they used in is much like the great systems of cemeteries all around the country use today. In our system, in the Garden of Cumorah, which is our oldest garden, it was on a north, south, east, west grid, much like we use today. And you'll notice the grid system I kind of have eventually made here. Eventually, the local board purchased the sugar ground from Duncan Casper. So, as I mentioned, very historical here at our cemetery. You'll notice as you come around our cemetery, if you haven't had a chance, we encourage you all to come by and visit and walk around and see the history that we have here. Somebody was just saying, oh, I took my dog for a walk. We encourage you, bring your dog on a leash, walk around. Take a tour, see all the beautiful old graves that we have. Many of them are marked by the Historic Society. Many of the monuments, the standing monuments, are very, very old, and people are like, why don't you fix them? We don't fix them because we want them to remain that beautiful monument that it is. Early days, let's talk about, now this is not Holiday. I unfortunately could not find any old photos, even the Good Daughters of the Pioneer, old photos of Holiday, but let's imagine if we were, but old dirt roads. There was no water available beyond irrigation. The roads were virtually non-existent. There was no perpetual care. I mean, it was just really not much of anything. That was until Edwin Boyce Harper stepped in. Edwin Boyce Harper went to Bishop Larson and suggested that he, and if you'll notice, by the way, I want to take you back, there are some photos out there of the Harpers, along with the Bunthorpes. They were blacksmiths. And there are some photos of their own blacksmith shop here in Holiday. He came to them and said, I feel like we can make this a little bit better. Back then, the horse and buggy, they were getting a little bit frustrated. because all the carriages would get stuck in the mud. So we couldn't do proper burials. So he said, I think we can make some improvements. And he did just that. So he became our first manager of the cemetery. 1916. Oh my heavens. And he did expansions, and some of those we're going to talk about now. So the group of 15 men all came together to purchase a 5 acres from the adjacent Brinson family cemetery. Believe it or not, that's where the old Cotton Wall is. And there are photos out there you will also see of the old Britton family. So the Britton family had a cemetery kind of across the street, a little family area. They purchased those 5 acres, and those were eventually traded to William Broadbank for a separate section, a separate 5-acre lot on the north side. Eventually the laws changed, and Edmund Harper solicited donations, and then they purchased the cemetery in whole. The third and fourth expansions were kind of small. The first was a broad lane on the southwest side purchased by Dr. Wilcox, and the latter was donated by Joseph Patrick. Yeah, not very large sections, but they kind of came in different segments. The final acquisition by Edmund Harper undertook was a purchase of land on the northwest corner from Joseph Stevenson for $400. So, I'm here on the left. You'll notice, although this is not the whole, this is one of the Brinson homes, and this is the one that was across the street from it. Imagine what the homes look like. That's kind of what it was on dirt roads. You'll notice that David Britton, this is his home here in the middle, and it still stands, and I believe it's on the wall. If somebody has come across and done an updated marker for the Brintons, again, probably one of the most famous asked about markers in our cemetery. This happens to be in our Garden of Nauvoo. Garden of Conmora, Garden of Nauvoo. So, in 1923, they had this brilliant idea that we want to start incorporating perpetual care, and we want to start talking about it. And perpetual care, and you can kind of see it up in the little light, is going to be one of the I'm sorry. I can't see it for you. Perfect. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, anyway. In the bottom, perpetual care, we kind of all know what that is. It's the maintaining the ground, digging the graves, the mowing the lawn, all of those items. Back in 1923, they needed new water lines for the Springfield Water Company. And if you don't know, Holiday Cemetery has potable water. You can drink our water. But it's like people go and fill up their jugs downtown. Our water is fresh, it's clean, you can drink our water. We are lucky here at Holiday. If you own a lot of land, you're invited to purchase perpetual care for an additional $100. 7 of those people that own those rods of land decided to take up on that, and those monies were placed into a bank account where the interest was used to pay sextons. Our first sextons came about, from perpetual care came about in 1923. And then a provision was made for those who did not want to pay a fee. They could pay an annual amount of $6 to care for their own lots. I looked about what is a rod. I had no idea. Anybody know what a rod of land is? Yeah. So a rod is the Old English measure of distance between 16 feet, with variations up to 9 to 28 feet. So that's how old some of this information is that I had to go into the archives. They refer to things as rods. I don't know. I'm not English here, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
You got it.
Oh, perfect, okay. So, I have some more old books up front. We have many, many old books. 1942, George Marchant came around. Right now, the cemetery was owned by the Holiday First Ward Corporation, and George Marchant was called upon to be our first treasurer. At that point in time, the books and the accounting system was started. And you can see some of these old books. I have ones that go on journals, actually, as I was looking through them, that go back, honest to goodness, signed by Doug Casper in the 1800s. Little receipts, little notes. It's amazing the history that we can find. So pretty amazing for Marchant. Edwin Harper, a new marker has been made to honor him. The Harper family, as well as the Marchant family, they're kind of the same. George Harper Marchant. All in our big Christmas tree. How many of you been and seen our big Christmas tree? Yeah. Over 250,000 lights on that. Amazing. So right underneath the Christmas tree are the Harper and the Marchant. So kind of our old area over there. A few years later, the Bishop Gideon Omer came in and purchased the original 5 acres that they traded. So, the Brockink family. And then things in 1956 really began to take change. That's when they put up that's when the cemetery is what it is now. When they put up the fence, lawn was planted, and the perpetual care system that we know it all became self-supported and funded all on its own. Believe it or not, I'm going to blow your own minds. Do you know the Castro home used to reside on our cemetery? The Castro home. The one that's on the... Yep, that used to reside in our cemetery, right where my office is.
What's it on Milo? Or,
different Castro home, not what's on Milo. Yep. Our company went through, and there are some pictures out there that we'll show you as well. We did go through many years ago, so in the 70s, the LDS Church said they were no longer wanting to be in the cemetery business. Was at that time they sold the cemetery to the McKay family. The McKay family then purchased Deseret Mortuary, our cemetery, as well as the Copland Mortuary across the way. John McKay lived here right behind the cemetery. Many of you know the McKays. They're all big boys, you can't miss them. They all kind of grow up along with many of you digging graves running around the cemetery, right? When John McKay passed away, our company, Memorial Mortuaries and Cemeteries, then purchased that cemetery. That was in the 90s, and it was a little bit somewhere, I don't know, a little bit before that they did go to the city. Probably a little 5 ways before that, and did ask the Holiday City if they would like the home, but they had to make arrangements to have it properly placed. Pretty amazing, huh? Some names that we have. You'll notice some of these are some of the old monuments that we do have around our cemetery. George Boyce, you'll notice his home kind of up on Holiday Boulevard. There's an old monument here. Some of them are so old, you'll see like some of them for target practice back in the day or something like that. You'll see little bullet holes in them. Lee and Annie Livingston also husband and wife have their markers here. In the cemetery, we have quite a diverse, array of notables. The Rain Man. The only person in the entire world that has 2 spirits to his brain. He could actually read, he open up a book, and he could read and write the book simultaneously. He is buried there with his father in their cemetery. President's House, we have many, many notables from the LDS Church that are buried here. However, generally most of them are buried at public city cemeteries, and he decided it was a holiday act. I want to be buried. So many people will ask, where is President's House? I want to see President's House. President Pimble's daughter is buried outside my office, and up front is some of his family is also up front. Bill Moorcraft, remember the running news? Yeah. So you'll notice we have various people coming in asking, we have some sad names of tragedies that have happened, but generally speaking, there's quite a fun assortment of different people that we have here.
You have Santa Claus.
We do, oh my gosh.
Has everybody signed it? I think everyone's signed it. Email us.
So, I want to let you know, cemeteries have come a long way. From me to you, if you have not taken care of your pre-planning, I would suggest you do so, for many reasons. But look how far we've come. Today, we have mausoleums. We have the beautiful Christus, which resides right out front in our garden of Nauvoo. That has a single crypt in it. It also has, on the ends, banks for cremation. We now have new green burial gardens. You'll notice the one on the bottom left with the rose in the middle. We have a green burial garden. That's for those who, the newer generation, want to not leave a big impact on Earth. So, did you raise your hand up? There is no vault. You're buried in biodegradable clothing, and you're buried. We are the only cemetery in the Intermountain area, Intermountain region that offers this. That's our Bountiful location. Our Bountiful location is sold out 3 gardens. I have so many people here in Holiday that asked us for this, we've almost sold out our first section. Cremation, see, buried like in, people are like, what do you get buried in? I refer to it as the Moses basket. Anybody seen that? Yeah. We also have, today, we have private estates. You'll see the little statues here. People actually purchase areas within our cemetery where you can plan for your whole family. Now, many of you, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, have spaces from when Brigham Young, he said, hey, I want you to go, he said, I want you to go establish a township. And they came here to our area. Why did they come here? Because of the rolling creeks. Because the cottonwood, they could go by the golf course. It was just a perfect area for everybody to come. And when they came, they gave you lots of land based upon the size of your family. Now, many of you in the early days, our ancestors, your forebears, have spaces that are cemetery because their land was donated, because they did work, because they were original founding fathers of our cemetery. Those spaces have long almost vanished. But for those who want to pre-plan and purchase spaces for their family, they have chosen to purchase private estates. You'll notice on the right side, families have purchased entire rooms. They're heated, they're lit, they're under lock and key. You have a cremation garden in the back. Beautiful green interior. Cemeteries and burials have come a long way from when they were hand-dug, arduous. You know about that, don't you, Brett?
I've dug a lot of graves. I was like a teenager, pick and shovel.
Yeah, this is great, Denver. So yeah, he and his siblings spent many a day digging graves. Maybe not. So, any questions? Can I answer anything for you? Right here with me today, Josh and James, come on in. This is my husband James. You might know, he's my coworker. I know. Always incestuous socialist family, we're okay with it. Our boss, Josh, he runs all of our cemeteries. So we have several cemeteries throughout the valley. Down the hole, kind of up at the very top of the hill, you can look down over the Great Salt Lake and all the beautiful area up there. Small, much like a holiday cemetery. We have our Holiday City Cemetery. Small. We have another small cemetery out in Stoney, across kind of like the Southtown Hall. On the east side, very small, that's called our Lake Hills location. Then we have our big location, our main Fire Street location, Redwood Road, big. And then we have another one at my High School. Much like the Holiday Cemetery, lots of trees, lots of water, much bigger, on a grander scale. So Josh, he's the one that has all the big, he's the one that takes care of all the big projects. Yeah, so, yeah.
You have the Yancy's buried in the.
We do, and there's a Hincy right here.
I know.
That's another house here. Yeah.
How many Yancy's do you got there?
You guys doing it? I don't know.
No.
There's a whole bunch of.
Yes.
Yeah, I would get probably Hincy and Amherst, probably are some of our rare names.
40 Andersons, is that what we heard?
Just buried, that doesn't mean that there's not
Those
more.
ones been found.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran Bill Peter Anderson was my great grandfather.
So you're up on top of the hill.
More and more.
Mm-hmm.
He was buried there. What are some of the other big family names, holidays? I mean, you've mentioned some of them already. Can you, are there others?
Oh, gosh, you know, so somebody at one point in time told me that the Amherst family is the biggest surname in Utah. I'm not really sure. That would make sense as to how many factions, according to the wives, right? You know, how many different Amherst families that have broken off. But truly, Amherst is huge in our cemetery.
Well, Santa and Pastor was buried there too. That's his house right out here.
Yeah, Castle Lane, Walkers, all buried there, right? A lot, you know, Bolthorpe, so the Bolthorpe started along, you know, it's a lot, you know, the Bolthorpe, he started.
Who was Duncan Casper?
Duncan Casper, I don't know the history behind him, but I will tell you that his markers up the very tip top of, so the Garden of our Cumorah is the middle of our islands, right in the very middle, and his was kind of almost up at the very tip top. I don't know, honestly, and I'm sure we could find more about him out there. I don't know what he did back then. I know he did hold several positions in the church. I just don't know. Pastor, huge. Another name, lots of spaces.
No.
Yes.
Oh, did you say how many people are buried there?
Oh, how many did we look at? The last time we looked.
There's over 8,000.
Yeah. So we're 11 acres. Only half developed at this point in time. Okay, now I have a lot changed a little bit during COVID. Everybody kind of realized their morbidity. And so, yeah.
Sort of Larry Fox.
Well, I think a lot of it is we opened up our Garden of Hope, which is up behind my office, up on top of the hill, which everybody wanted for years.
That's where the circular,
Just right behind my office, the main TikTok, so you have a view of everything. A lot of people move their spaces. But another name, Dee big name.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Were you saying Hincy's a popular name of holiday?
Yes.
I'm a transplant, so I know Hincy's from back east.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking this side.
They originated from here, but
They
I'm gonna have to
also-
contact the guy.
Yeah. I mean, isn't there something like they came from Germany or
From
something?
Denmark.
Denmark, okay.
It's a German name, but they came from Denmark.
Okay, all right.
You haven't said much about the holiday.
But yeah, so John Holiday, you know, so John Holiday, he was instrumental in really, you know, having people come out and telling them to make a mark here. He was instrumental in, pretty much in everything. He was the one that said, this is where we want to be. It was
Was he
like,
pioneer era or maybe?
yeah, no, he was the one, John Holiday actually was the one who decided to.
So-
Mhm. So we settled, there were two different camps, right? So if you go up by where the Old Mill Golf Course is, where the family, so you remember what was the old,
Newsom?
the old mill? Yeah, up there. So it was a mill, literally used, and
Paper.
they actually had, so there was actually a cemetery, and this is the big monument, right? Many of that was, much of that was relocated up. They do have some old burials there, but much of that was located up to Salt Lake City Cemetery. And then the rest came here. Why? Because we had this beautiful lake, this beautiful, stream that came running down, beautiful trees. We had a mill up there. We had, not only did we have a foundry, but we had a mill. So truly, John Holiday was instrumental in saying, this truly is the place. Holiday is the place.
Talk a little bit about what we talked about in your office when you said that back then, people would just bury somebody in their yard. And there were just people buried all over the place, and there's really no way of knowing. So that was just...
Truth be known, yeah. So if you think about it, like, that's what it was. I mean, you could bury someone, we just don't know. We don't know if somebody could be buried, like, we just don't know. You know, the journals just, they didn't have GPS coordinates. They didn't have any of that. They just said it was in Holiday. And so it's hard to explain when you come looking for your loved one, right? I don't know what your loved one is. Unfortunately, I just don't have those details for you, and we can't provide it to you. And that is, we just do the best guess of us. It could have been in the Duncan area, somewhere on the Cotton Mall side, right? On the Casper area. It could be in our areas, anywhere around our cemetery. And back then they allowed it, now we don't anymore. Yeah.
So, like my great-grandfather, do you have records of that, maybe receipts or journals or anything to do with people that you don't have any of us?
No. Again, your family just through your genealogy, right? Through your genealogy, through Daughters of the Pioneer, through different things that we have so much access to now. It just does that they were buried in this area, right? Maybe by a tree, maybe in a holiday area, and we just assumed it was our cemetery.
Have you ever run across remains
All the time. Well, not as much
in
in
the
the
house or something in Cottonwood Mall area?
There was a dinosaur down in Cotton Mall, you know that? A big dinosaur bones down, oh my goodness, I don't know how many years ago it was that they did find a dinosaur bone in the little Cotton Mall area.
No, that was,
Yeah, so we do have, so Salt Lake City, so if you were to come and pull them out of our cemetery, we do have a mapping system, and you will see in our Garden Camora mainly, which is in Minnesota Islands, where your family is, where the Caspers are, where maybe the Andersons, the Christmas tree, right? You will see blocks of unmarked graves. We do not disturb them, because we're not going to find out who they are. We'll never use that technology, and it's very expensive and it's very invasive. We want to leave those to rest the way they have been.
What can you tell us about the Christmas tree, where the tradition came from, and how old the tree is? And I know it's in several of the memorial cemeteries.
Yeah, so our company did this beautiful thing. The connotation of coming to a cemetery is kind of a hard thing, right? And so they decided they wanted this to be a place for families to come and enjoy. So several years ago, they started a tradition of the Christmas tree, of the hot dogs on Memorial Day. Different events where families could come, enjoy it with your loved ones and not be sad, right? Spend those moments. So
Is there a number of interments that we've reached that makes decide on that?
On the Christmas tree?
Yeah, I think it was 250,000 actually.
Yeah, the light's 250,000. We actually we got the idea in 2015. We went to as many industries have, there's an association for crematories, funeral homes, and cemeteries. And there was an outfit back east that was doing it. And they were sharing the success that they had in a way to give back to the community. So we kind of piggybacked off them And we chose, the largest tree in the cemetery there, as was mentioned, there's 250,000 lights on it. Really no significance to the number, it's just we wrap every single branch on that tree, and it comes out to a lot of lights and a lot of electricity.
Yeah, we take it down every other year. So it's a horse chestnut tree. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But it has like little.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the lighting of the tree is it takes a gentleman, one of our grounds crew gentlemen, it takes him up in a boom, and the boom extends up to 80 or 90 feet, and he's in that boom for a bare minimum of 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the weather.
Yeah, we also have girdle 3 of them.
So you take it down every other year, so you don't girdle the...
Yeah, the tree is still growing, and the bands are stretched so tightly that they'll actually start to snap and then we have the squirrels, bless their hearts. They like to chew the cords. I just want to make sure it's not plugged in.
What about other wildlife you have in here?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have here.
Family deer and red-tailed fox.
You have fox?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a red-tailed fox that runs around.
They're not very social. They're not very social. They'll kind of hang around in the van, but you'll see the deer everywhere. And this time last year when we got so dry, they literally came out by the office. Squirrels are everywhere. You've seen them. Unfortunately, they don't make it crossing the road to get the fall. Sometimes they'll find their demise. Hawks.
Charlotte from our trailer park.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at it.
Yeah, they do. We have, interesting or not, we do have the fox. Last year we were like, what is going on? We kept finding these fish. And our grounds crew, they come in quite early in the morning, and they saw them, and then Mama Fox was she has a fox den, kind of up in a developed area. I mean, try not to go back and disturb her, but she was trying to train her pups into hunting, and she would place these little dead fish, and that was her little thing, and it's pretty amazing.
People like Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a peacock.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Raccoons.
Yeah, I don't see too many raccoons.
There was a beautiful peacock last year that was out in our maintenance area.
But really, people who are Cardinal Olympus, which is the Cardinal of Rose East Side, they're quiet. And you'll hear all the birds, and you'll see all the animals. The hawks in our cremation garden will sit up on the mountain and they'll watch. And at certain times, I don't know what it is, but you'll just circle and circle and circle.
And everybody dies to come to one of these circles. I was going to suggest, you brought so much material that a lot of people haven't had a chance to look at, and I was wondering if, when you're through with your lecture, people could go out there, and you could go out there too, all of you, and maybe answer questions when you're finished, when you're prepared. Yeah. What do people think about that?
Yeah. There's just so much. I knew it didn't have necessarily so much with cemetery, but I was like, it's truly a gem. I mean, some of these old records are so hard to find, and the history is just so old. And so, Kim, Daughters of the Pioneer, Josh, we did a lot of research to try to get information about it. And it's just truly amazing what.
Did you have a question now? One of the lights are.
Well, I was asking you about the Christmas tree that you kind of left us. You actually take those lights off every year?
Yeah.
Every year.
Every other.
And you put them on every branch and every twig?
If you go over that, you will see it. As you go, from live to our cemetery,
It's hard to miss if it's going on.
if you literally walk up to it, you will see today, you will walk over there today, you will see because it's lit up in almost every single branch. In the front room, grounds crew, I was sitting in my office one day.
And I hate Christmas.
I was sitting in my office one day several years ago, And these group of teenagers came by. It was like about 6 o'clock, 5:30 at night. Came by and they thought it would be really funny, so they pulled up in their little truck. We had big globes. And they ran out to the store with the globes. And they don't know that they're hoisted and bolted in. And they went to go grab that and flung them back. It was funny. But our grounds crew, they actually make those. And if you notice, they've kind of spread out over the years. And so everybody's like, can I get a globe for my family? But we just kind of place them sporadically throughout the cemetery. But I do know last year, in the last 2 years, staying here with 3 animals full time. By the time they get all the lights, sponsoring them, take them all, almost full time for a month to take that, and that's our grounds crew that does that.
What kind of lights are they?
Just regular,
They're LED.
because there's so many, 250,000, there's no one, or 3, it's amazing, right? I don't know if you were aware or not, but we had, KSL came to us several years ago and said, we're getting so many calls. And people will call us. We get people from Idaho, Wyoming saying, we hear about your tree of life. And so KSL actually came and did they included us in their lights. And if you didn't, none of you have been there before, we encourage you to come at Christmas time. Every Monday night.
We've lost power at this time. We had a lot of calls about lost power.
Yeah.
I'm always going to see the lights.
I know, not so much anymore in the cemetery.
Yeah, I remember the first time I came in here about 14 years ago. I remember the first time I saw the lights. We were actually up on the hill. I had no idea where it was. We just drove and drove and drove. It would be fun to figure out how to get there. So thank you. It's a pretty cool thing every Christmas. And then I think you said hot dogs at Memorial Day.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, because
That's kind of our secret.
okay. Because I'm looking for a free meal. But when you said that, my father, I can identify pictures. He'll say that was Memorial Day because we picnicked as a family at a cemetery, and that's when Dad would bring out his straw hat. He brought the new hat out on Memorial Day and we picnicked. I've never heard.
One of my first experiences was helping volunteering. We had, it was Memorial Day, and we had a coworker that's in the military, so he was employed. Kathy invited me to help her, or told me I was going to.
Yeah. Memorial Day by myself.
Yeah. You have the opportunity to, help people with their finding their spaces and things like that. I didn't know anything at all about what I was involved with that day. But I remember in my mind a woman walking up to me with a hot dog in her hand, and she was crying. And she said, "Thank you so much for this." And I think in her mind, that was a memory that she had where a loved one, they'd come there to visit during the Memorial weekend, and that was a memory she shared. And that person wasn't with us anymore. And so those things were very impactful for me to be part of people's moment. And that's what Kathy and Josh and I do every day. We have a chance to be part of people's moment.
Thanks.
It's a great honor.
Can I make a quick comment about hot dogs? So we do hot dogs at 2 other cemeteries, but I have to admit, the holiday residents really turned on hot dogs.
We get calls 2 months before. We're going to be on the market. We're going to be on the market.
So we have hot dog operating hours over the Memorial Day weekend. And we've had to move our hot dogs operating hours just a holiday, not the other locations. The other locations don't start serving until 11 o'clock on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We do it 3 days in a row. That holiday, we have to start serving at 8 a.m. We serve over 8,000 hot dogs on Memorial Day weekend, and more than half of them are served out of our people in all days.
Those cute little kids that are there, they do that for volunteering.
My wife is working at the station.
Yeah, she is my making hot dogs every year. Those kids come and volunteer, they have that those little hot dogs, carry out flags. So some people will ask us, well, my relative doesn't have a flag. And I just want to let you know, it used to be done inside the BMW. They are no longer doing that. It used to be kind of a service project, educated kids, you know, in volunteer hours. We have some donuts on this little truck, and we do flags, and they run around and look for markers. And if your marker had something that represented a military emblem, then they would give you a flag. They don't, COVID kind of changed a lot. We no longer do that, so that's why the kids are there kind of get a flag. So if you ever need a flag, please come into the office. Let us know. If you ever are looking for someone, if you ever need something, my family's coming on this day, we'll probably clear off your grave for you. We'll have it ready for you when your family comes. We can even put out a bench for you if you would like. But in terms of the event, so Memorial Day, Christmas, this year we are doing an Easter egg hunt. So bring the kids, get the new ones. And if you don't know, we started doing these in the park. True, every year it's doing it. Because now last year was the second year, and we put up a big screen, and the kids run around, and our company gives you just watch a Disney movie. Last year, oh my God, there's any of
Order floats and politics, flowers on
So now on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. We do a lot. So,
we try to have reasons for you to come up with one year, draw the year, so.
You know, if you've been fully photographed by Billion Graves or Michael Graves.
Oh, yeah, they can all. They ask all the time about this.
what do you mean fully photographed? I'm sorry.
Have they covered the whole cemetery?
You know, I don't know. There's so many new technologies and so many different things now that people are like, oh, do you have little markers for people who's happy and on a grave? We don't disturb a grave if somebody put it out there, so we've never put like an emblem on it, you know, where people can track it. But we are getting a new system. But yeah, it's pretty amazing what we have, and I appreciate all of you allowing us to indulge you in what, I mean, we're feeling like, you like this little trailer? And I'm like, yes, without my view, every single day. It's spectacular, and we're so lucky. Many of you know each other. We kind of, we're both close to come and walk every day.
That's our office.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of came here from California, out washed away the floods, and she just came up and said, huh?
Burned out.
Yeah, I mean, by the fire. You know, we were talking about the floods. Yeah, but burned out by the fire, and then ended up here. I mean, just so many different reasons. And I appreciate all of you coming and letting us share this time. We'll head on out here and thank you. Yes. Thank you.